How you doing? Welcome back to another video. I'm Kevin for habitsv2.com. Today I'm going to talk about just some ways that alcohol can be toxic for different types of relationships that you have. And I'm going to start with these sort of backwards. So number 3, number 2, number 1. The most important thing to me is at the end. I think the most important thing to any drinker, especially a family person, is towards the end of this. So I'm going to start out first with friends, how it affects your friends, or how that relationship, it's two people or more people, but it's a two-way street, how that affects you. So first of all, alcohol is a selfish thing. It's a selfish drug. So anytime that you are drinking, the more you drink of this stuff, the more into yourself you get, because you're the only one that's feeling the buzz, right? You're the only one that's getting the high. You're the only one that feels this, and everything else outside of yourself is reduced. You're sort of reducing your output into the world. You're reducing the intelligence of your output. You're reducing the utility of it. You're reducing what it means to other people, but you're also reducing the capacity for yourself to communicate with other people and to attract other people into your life. So if you're, regardless of whether you're with somebody or not with somebody, it's one of those things that you will be judged by other people, by how you act in life. So from that perspective, drinking alcohol is certainly going to reduce your relationships from being selfish, not being able to communicate, and honesty as well. I mean, it's very difficult to be honest with somebody when you can't think straight yourself. The second part of this is with your partner, so your wife or your husband or your boyfriend, girlfriend. If you have a partner or if you haven't got a partner, same principles apply. This is a selfish drug. Communication is so important. The closer you are to somebody, the more important communication is. And from the perspective of honesty, again, even more important to be honest with the people that are around you. So same principles apply, but multiplied by a factor of 2, 3, 4, 10. When you're with somebody and you for me, if you're going to be with somebody, you're with somebody for the rest of your life. And, it's not, people get together because they're physically attracted to each other, but it doesn't last long. Or, that same buzz doesn't last you all the way through. And for me, it's all about work. Anybody can stay with anyone else as long as they're not a complete asshole. If you are working on it, But it's very difficult to work on these things when you are deliberately reducing your own capacity, your mental capacity, your physical capacity. Now, brings me on to the last one. The most important one for me is your children. If you've got kids, for me, it was the thing that sent me over the edge. And it took me 21 years after I had my son, after my son was born, that I realized that what I was doing was creating a situation where I was encouraging my son to become a druggie, just like I was, And if you don't think you're a druggie taking alcohol, just switch it out for another drug. People think, oh, well, I'm not taking heroin, I'm not taking cocaine, I'm not doing this or that. One and the same thing, because it has the same effect on your life and it has the same effect on other people's lives, You can get pedantic about it and say, well, no, it doesn't really have the same effect. You can have much different effect with this drug. Yeah, you're being pedantic. It's still changing the way that you think about things. It's changing the way that you think about your life. It's changing the way that you view reality. For me, having that sense of I wasn't being a good father, having that sense that I wasn't using my consciousness, I was hiding from my own conscience. And that it's part of the problem and it's part of the solution as well. It's part of the problem because, you're hiding away from yourself, you're hiding away from it stops you from thinking about things on a very basic level. When you can hide away from yourself, when you can not think about those things, that you're being a shit dad or a shit mom, you know, doesn't make the problem go away. You know, it actually exacerbates the problem down the road, because eventually you're going to have to think about it. And it's part of the solution, because, you know, from the solution point of view, yeah, it does hide yourself from yourself. But it's also part of the solution, because if you stop drinking alcohol and you allow your conscience to come back, then you can make much more headway in your life, because you're no longer escaping from that part of yourself. You're having to face up to yourself. You're having to face up to your own problems and the consequences of those problems. So look, I don't want to get preachy with this thing. I can only point out from my own perspective. You know, I can only ever point out from my own life and how my life has been affected by this. But I've been doing this now for 10 years. I've been teaching people for 10 years. And I can tell you now, it doesn't get easier. It doesn't get easier for me to listen to other people going through the same thing at the beginning of that journey, because that is a tough time. It's a tough time to go through, but it's an essential time that you have to go through. If you want help to stop drinking alcohol, we've got our program, our platform, habitsv2.com, www.habitsv2. It's up there at the top. And it's everything that you need to stop drinking alcohol under one roof. We've got a lot of step-by-step videos helping you all the way through this, from stopping drinking alcohol and obviously getting through that. But you know, my whole journey has involved evolving into myself and evolving into a person that I look back and I think, Jesus, why did I drink so much alcohol? I started out, you know, funny enough, with the same FOMO. I'm going to be missing out on this, I'm going to be missing out on that. But eventually that FOMO turns into regret. And you have to deal with that regret in whatever way you can. For me, the best way of dealing with it is just to say, well, you know, it is what it is. Can't change it. It is what it is. And I've learned so much. I've become a different person because I stopped drinking alcohol, and that's just it. So, listen, I'll leave it there for today. You know where we are. Take good care of yourself. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.